What is up, guys? Evanaldo here. Welcome back to the channel. We just saw an absolute bloodbath, especially for Ethereum and altcoins right now, hitting off of major points. A lot to talk about right now for obvious reasons. I think you're going to get a lot out of this video. I really do think so. If you enjoy it at the end or now, smash the like button or whatever. The first thing I wanted to show you guys, fear index. We're now getting into that kind of dark orange zone. This is on the crypto coinmarketcap.com one. You got a big jump around this area in 2023 as we came back. Same thing happened in exactly a year later, pretty much, September of 24. Now we're in that same area. So we may be nearing the bottom, or given that we just came down, capitulation, tons of liquidations, you'll come up. I was looking at funding rates too. They're now negative for Ethereum. So more people are now shorting Ethereum, getting ready for, that potential short squeeze. So Bitcoin hitting that huge area, still above, which is crazy. Bitcoin's really held up very well here, still above that January low, which is really good for Bitcoin. So obviously, you don't have to be a complete genius to realize big jump up here. Important place to hold is obviously 91K. The fact that we jumped up and got a nice kind of hammer candle here, that's really good. So in my estimate, I think that trying to long up to this area has some good odds. That's what I will say. That's pretty much all I really could tell you for Bitcoin right now. I mean, your money flow though is starting to look bad here on that 2 weeks. So there are bearish arguments to make, especially the 3 week, the 2 week. It depends what you think. Are we going to follow the 4-year cycle here? Or are we going to do something different? I mean, based on that 3 week, you could be really bad. I mean, you could the 3 week is like top stuff, like going down. But I don't think it's going to happen because, well, you could kind of see a little bit, not as bad, but a little bit, maybe even here, March of 2017, you did see that drop off. So I would compare it more to kind of that area in the 4-year cycle. I would kind of compare it to, because I'm a big 4-year cycle believer. I think for a lot of reasons, we have more to go here. Moving on to Ethereum. So big freaking, this is just what, 25% correction. It's dip buying. If you believe in ETH, if you think ETH is going to do what it does in the 4-year cycle, it's dip buying. Huge area. That's a huge area. I mean, I guess they could bring us down to 2K and hit these wicks right here, kind of the scene of the crime area, but we've kind of already hit it, and you got that big kind of candle, that jump up. Usually you come up a little bit more before you come back down, if you are going to come back down. A lot of the bearish things could have already played out, especially even this trigger wave. I mean, that trigger wave from the top there, that's already a 40%, almost a 50% correction. That absolutely could have already played out. Those are known for those big corrections. Ripping the bandit off quick is generally better. So big area to hold. I mean, if we lose, I wouldn't say if we lose here it's the end of the world, but losing 2K would be a kind of a colossal nightmare here. I don't think it's going to happen. I think maybe this, like I mentioned, this is played out. Now, some other huge things. This is another, I've talked about it a lot. I've sounded, I thought there's a good shot that we bottomed out back here. I'll admit it, but now we're at this huge area. The question now is, do you make a higher low against Bitcoin, or do you go back down to these areas? My guess is you make a higher low, but we'll see what happens. Maybe, we got the tariffs, we got all other stuff. I think tariffs, things get priced in quickly. That all could be getting priced in now, and then if they don't affect things as badly as some may think, then we start to come back down. So big kind of jump off of this area. That could have been your capitulation on ETH, your bottom, like I mentioned for ETH. Big things to look at here. Yields, I mean, I'm not going to talk about them too much. We'll probably see in the morning, in the next 12 to 24 hours, most likely more movement down. And I think that'll continue down to these areas at least by, in a few months. Back down to these lows and then hopefully lower. Bitcoin dominance, obvious, 62%. So huge area for Bitcoin dominance, that kind of area. You jumped above it, major capitulation. However, if we lose that, it could come back down. So yeah, I mean, I get, unless, maybe all those people saying on Twitter there will be no altcoin season. So far they've been right, but people said that the last time in January of 2021 December of 2020, and then look what happened. So I wouldn't count it out completely. I wouldn't count it out completely. And then moving on to, I just wanted to show you, this is an important chart to look at. Others versus Bitcoin coming back down there. Sorry about, there's some dogs barking loudly, but coming back down to that area right there. Potentially a little bit farther down. And then others, this one is the important one to look at too. Others, you got a reverse head and shoulders right here. And ultimately, from this reverse head and shoulders, you're starting to form it, you're hitting that huge area. That could be a potential bottom. That could be a potential bottom here. You know, that kind of area right there. So that's huge right there. You know, these bearish things could have played out. You know, that was a big drop down, you know, 50% drop down right here. This one was a big drop down, 56%, and then hopefully recovery and then hitting these higher numbers by summer, by late summer. That's what we're looking at here. Trump coin, I mean, obviously down to the depths, very low depths, trying to hold that area. Maybe it finally jumps up. Usually the biggest meme craze just doesn't go down completely in a straight line. Usually they have some resurgence at some point, but highly risky. So ultimately, that's what I'm looking at. I think there's a good argument to make that we do jump here. A good argument to make, especially with the yellow X's, 5 yellow X's on others. That's big for altcoin buying. A lot of people are scared right now. It's a huge area. What's either going to happen, you're either going to lose this, come down to 1.3 billion. If you're a huge non-believer in alts, thinking they're going to come down another 40, 50%, probably should stay away from alts. Not financial advice. But if you think it's going to do what it's done in the 4-year cycle, and this will continue to, you know, trend upward over long periods of time, you know, then this may be the time to get in. We got that fear, like I mentioned. You know, maybe I'm just being a perma bull. Maybe I'm just smoking the hopium a little bit too much here. But huge areas, big dip buying places. That's what I will say. I'm just curious real quick about ApeCoin here. Okay, so back down to kind of that area. Few of these trying to make slightly higher lows. So if we draw like I have an unsafe obsession with this. I don't know why, but that kind of area and then trying to make a higher low or whatever. Anyway, one more thing, guys. If you want to go long, I think there's a lot of good opportunities here. Obviously not financial advice, anything could happen, but check out BYDFI. Get a 10% cashback bonus on your first deposit. I think you get it within a few weeks if you keep the money in the account. BloFin, there's a nice promo where if you do a certain amount of trading volume, you can get these amounts that are withdrawable, and you could, I think, potentially buy these products or use the money however you want. So check that out. If you guys have, you know, a small amount of money that you want to, you know, put in towards a trading account, you can get with an evaluation, if you get 10% before you lose 5% here, 800, you know, for $800 and keep 90% of your trade, 90% of your profits, 880. Really good opportunity on Breakout, especially if you want to learn. If you sign up to any of the exchanges down below, deposit at least $100 or sign up for Breakout and make the payment, I'll give you 1 free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. Just open a support ticket with either your email here or your UID. I think Breakout you'd have to put in the email, and then we'll get you sorted. Hope you guys got something out of this video. I think it's a big buying opportunity unless we really break the 4-year cycle, unless things get really haywire. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Goodbye.